was a typical summer's day in Wellington. The sun was doing its level best, but the eternal, maddening winds were already scuffling over the bay and muscling their way inshore to ruffle pennants and hairdos, but never spirits. Not on this day. The red carpet was less familiar, but not unexpected. Over 500 feet of imitation velvet swerved up Courtney Place to the doors of the Embassy Cinema, recently refurbished at a cost of $5 million to a fetching cream and caramel Art Deco scheme. One of the myriad cinematic gifts Peter Jackson had bestowed upon his hometown. Fittingly, 15 years earlier, his debut film, Bad Taste, had premiered at the Embassy, albeit with less salubrious decor and a smaller turnout. Less in keeping with the old movie palace aesthetic was the cowled Nazgul astride a fell beast that had landed on top of the cinema virtually overnight to take up a silent watch over the day's festivities. That full-sized model, or maquette, with its great scooped neck and outspread wings, sculpted by the imperious talents of Weta Workshop, still exists. Like so many Middle-earthian relics, it has been squirreled away for posterity in one of Jackson's dusty warehouses, the mines of Moria of the Upper Hutt Valley. Jackson might have to still undertake the mandatory global press tour on behalf of his new film, with its procession of glad-handing and crowd-waving, but he had been adamant that the official world premiere for The Return of the King was to be in Wellington, the city at the heart of the production. This was the victory lap for a filmmaking triumph that, even in his innermost fantasies, he could never have imagined, and he wanted to share the moment with the people who had contributed so much. Naturally, it was to be a party of special magnificence. The good folk of Wellington were beginning to line the streets, bringing picnics and an unusual air of excitement for such an imperturbable race. Some had even camped out overnight. It felt like a public holiday or a homecoming parade, and in some senses that is exactly what it was. By the afternoon, over 125,000 locals were crammed 10 rows deep on either side of the streets. Quite something for a city with a population of 164,000. Their ranks swelled by out-of-towners, decreed honorary Wellingtonians for such an occasion, many wearing homespun wizard hats and elf ears, who had crammed themselves onto long-haul flights from every corner of the world just to be here on this day. You could hear the noise halfway to Wanganui. Soon enough, the stars and filmmakers would glide through the city, setting off from Parliament House on Lambton Quay in a fleet of Ford Mustang convertibles, soaking up the adoration of the crowd with a royal wave, flanked by Gondorian cavalry, enshrouded Nazgul on stoic horses, pug-ugly orcs hefting Weta-made swords, beefcake Uruk-hai, supermodel elves, and dancing hobbits trying not to trip over their outsized feet. At their head, in deference to the country that had become Middle-earth, was an outlier of Maori warriors, with florid taumoko tattoos and waggling tongues. They might as well have been another extraordinary tribe, dreamed up in leafy Oxford, 1,000,000 miles away, in the mind of a pipe-smoking Don. When Orlando Bloom wafted past, accompanied by Liv Tyler, there was screaming of a kind that was once the preserve of Beatlemania. There exists a framed photo of the 4 young actors who played the heroic hobbits, Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Billy Boyd, and Dominic Monaghan, that they had made for Jackson's birthday. They're in their hobbit wigs, shire garments, and prosthetic feet, but playing instruments, and posed exactly like John, Paul, George, and Ringo. The Hobbits is emblazoned on the bass drum. The Beatles are Jackson's favourite band, and had themselves once pondered making their own version of Tolkien's epic as a musical extravaganza. New Line had reputedly spent millions on the last official world premiere of the film trilogy they had staked their future on. What an inspired decision that seemed now.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.